Hi friends, today we bring to you the story of perhaps the most enigmatic leader that Maharashtra has ever produced. He has ruled the roost for 2 long decades and his popularity on ground has been unprecedented till date as far as politics is concerned. He was actually hailed not only as a political leader but also as a social leader. The social leader who was the first person to perhaps champion the cause of the son of the soil of Maharashtra. So he championed the cause for not only the son of the soil of Maharashtra but also the Hindu working class, which spiked his popularity up many notches on ground, and he was respected. He is still respected. He was by the masses across the firmament of the Maharashtrian politics, and to an extent he has been a large shaping factor in the formation of the governments in the center as well. So today in today's video we would take a sneak peek at Mr. Bal Keshav Thackeray's phenomenal rise to power, his fame, his infamy, and finally his legacy. Interestingly, Mr. Bal Keshav Thackeray had started his career as a cartoonist, and Free Press Journal Mumbai is where he used to work. But we must note that around the 1950s his work had also appeared in the Japanese daily newspaper, the Asahi Shimbun, and the Sunday edition of the New York Times. But come 1960s, his views started becoming increasingly political and towards a certain direction. Now is the time he had actually left the job in his Free Press Journal of Mumbai, and he started his work in a Marathi weekly. It's a journal called Marmik. This is an effort that he had jointly had with his brother. Now this is the first of its kind. This journal started polemicizing against the influence of outsiders in Mumbai. So his point was Mumbai was, or the Maharashtra was for Maharashtrians, and as a result, by 1966 his ideology had given rise to perhaps the most influential party, which was supposed to political party which was supposed to rule the roost in the next 20-30 years. That was the Shiv Sena. But we need to understand the genesis. Where and how did this ideology come into picture? Now we must understand that he is the son of Keshav Thackeray, who was a leading figure, who was a leading figure in the Samyukta Maharashtra movement, the United Maharashtra movement, which advocated the creation of a separate linguistic state. So given this change or this shift from the cartoonist angle to a staunchly political angle with a very strong ideology was more or less a very natural phenomenon that was bound to happen sooner than later. After the influential Marmik, it was now the turn of the Samna. Samna was the journal which was brought out by the Shiv Sena party. The Shiv Sena had actually created a firebrand image of its own party thanks to the immense popularity of Bal Keshav Thackeray on ground, and it was gaining in leaps and bounds in terms of popularity. And after assuming the Hindutva stance after the 1992 riots which took place in India, which spread to multiple parts of the country, and Maharashtra was also affected quite badly at that point in time, and Bal Keshav Thackeray had a very strong opinion at that point in time, and he had a very strong political influence as far as the Hindutva stance of this party is concerned. So his party had advocated that India does away with the secular aspect of the constitution and also embrace Hinduism as its official religion. He had his reasons for that, and there were certain questions which were unanswered, and at that point in time the influence of Bal Keshav grew so very strong that the election commission had actually had to step in around 1999 to ban Bala Sahib from contesting any elections or perform any campaigns, given that his style of campaigning was actually going against the social fabric and the constitutional fabric of the country, because he was asking, or he was accused, he was allegedly asking for votes against religion. But all these aspects did not deter his popularity, which actually was growing in leaps and bounds. And imagine this man's power. Based on his recommendation or influence, the name of the city of Mumbai had actually changed from Bombay to Mumbai. The party assumed the Hindutva stance around the 1992 riots, and this was when Bala Sahib was allegedly, or rather he was being accused of playing a key role in inciting organized violence against a certain community in Maharashtra. And this was based on the report of the Sri Krishna Commission, which had actually established that this was indeed the case. However, this did not deter him from winning the elections in a landslide margin in 1995. Out of the 288 seats, 138 were won by the BJP and the Shiv Sena coalition. And that was enough to form the coalition government in the state elections. And mind you, these 5 years between the 1995 to 1999, the party or the entire government machinery was ruled by an invisible influence. That invisible influence, or that godfather who was always there very strongly, making every decision, making every campaign, taking every playing a very important hand as to how the planning of development projects would happen in the next 5 years. That was no other person than Bal Thackeray. So he was like the godfather and the remote control to the government. In 1999, during the campaign, he was actually banned by the election commission from carrying out more campaigns, because he was allegedly carrying out his campaigns by asking for votes in the name of religion. That was what was the accusation. However, he had his agenda, and the way he had come to power was totally based on this Hindutva aspect, which he had made very clear from the day one, that he means business, and he means business for the Hindi heartland, the Hindus who are there, and he is talking about the Marathi Manas, or the son of the soil. So these are the two aspects which gave his firebrand form of political influence a very different dimension. Around 2004-2005, the party actually suffered a bit of setback, given the coalition with the BJP did not have that much of an influence, and there were thoughts that his nephew, the charismatic Raj Thackeray, would be taking over his legacy, given his age which he was attaining at that point in time. However, we didn't note, but it was in 2004, Uddhav Thackeray, his son, had actually assumed the chief position, party chief position, and took the promise and took the oath. As a result, what we saw was Raj, the charismatic leader, moving out from the helm of affairs and forming his own identity, or political identity, which was called the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena.
Raj Thackeray split from the Shiv Sena. The party's decline has started. How would you react to that statement?
No, it's not something like a crockery that it's going to finish because just Raj has left. Part of it thing. Again, it is not that easy to finish Shiv Sena.